Welcome back to day 2 of the third event. That is the, of course, third year this has been running, but this is the first international year inviting international surfers from around the Pacific, both New Zealand, Japan, California, Hawaii, Maui. So really stoked to see a real big cross-section of international surfers here. Welcome back to the couch, Mark Okalupo, and well, that was a heat.
Yeah, that was a bit frustrating
Yep.
for Dad right there. I mean, some scores were pretty, I thought they were more even than they were. I mean, obviously, the dad's going to be biased, but I didn't see a score I didn't agree with one of the scores the judges threw out there for one of the competitors. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay, well, this is going to be the last heat of round number 1. And out there at the moment, we have Randy Bonds. So, good morning, everyone. It is right now, 10 o'clock this morning on a Friday, running into an awesome weekend. Waves are starting to improve, the tides drop, the winds are light, and we're looking at a building swell the next few days. So it's going to be epic few days coming up. But at the moment, the last heat, again, we got Randy Bonds from Santa Cruz, so one of the West Coast California surfers. Gavin Potter from Coolum. We've seen the Coolum guys down there flying the flags frantically on the rocks. Stoked to see that. Nathan Cook from D-Bar Board Riders, just the boys surfing here constantly between D-Bar and Snapper. Great bunch of guys, awesome surfers, really talented bunch. And Zane Glore, as we see up and riding, this is Nathan from D-Bar Board Riders. Big backhand snap there and plenty of wall to work with still. He's really throwing vertical on the backhand, as we know, Mark. We don't mind surfing backhand here, is it? Yeah. Some people say, wouldn't you prefer to be a good natural footer surfing? But I don't mind being a good footer surfing here at Snapper. You get to really hook up into that backhand pocket.
You do, but when it's barreling behind the rock, I'd love to be a natural footer.
Okay.
Anyway, the Goofies that have been surfing well this event. Nathan Cook, wasn't he from Sydney? Seen him around for a long time. He's surfing for D-Bar, but I've seen him in QSs for a long time, and I do like his surfing a lot. And we saw it right there on that wave. So expect a good score from him on that wave.
Yep. Now, we do tend to get a few Sydney-siders up here.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at me. Hey, we were talking about that earlier. It's been 30 years, and I still can't call myself a local because I did originally come from Cronulla. And, but, it's a funny thing, isn't it?
I love it. No, but that's one thing. There's a lot of Cronulla surfers moved up, and I call this now, the southern part of the Gold Coast here, the southern Shire of the Gold Coast.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys from the Shire here, but there's also, there's been a lot of people move up just simply because of the waves and the warmth of the water. I came up at a young age, about 19. I think I had a girlfriend. I did have a girlfriend from up here, and moved up and fell in love with the place. It was so good while I was on tour to just fly out of Coolangatta.
Exactly.
It's 5 minutes away, and you can get anywhere in the world from Coolangatta. You hook up from Sydney, and then you can get anywhere. It's just such a good place to train.
Yeah,
it just served me right. It was a good move for my career moving up here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. No regrets.
No, mate, not at all. No,
love it.
You've integrated perfectly, and we've all, had a great lifestyle here, and we all love it. I did enjoy always going to Sydney, and I remember one time Steve Corr was shooting yourself and me, and we were on little grommies on the little left-hander wander, and I just love going to Cronulla. There was some good waves there, but no, you're right. It's good to get the warm waters, and these guys right now, look at this. We've got plenty of action going on. Nathan Cook once again on the backhand attack. Prior to that, we just saw Zane Glore. We'll get to a bit of replay action on these, but right through to the inside section. How many backhand snaps did Nathan throw in there? And he's not finished yet.
There was a lot of backhand snaps. He had a 6.33 for his first wave, and that's another good score right there.
Well, we're going to throw down to Darren Turner, the winner from that last heat. That was a spectacular heat, though. But Darren Turner, over to you guys. All right, so I'm back to Asper. Just a bit of issues with the mic there. We'll get back to them in a second. But already scores being thrown down here. As we said, Nathan Cook off to a very solid start. That last wave, I even lost how many backhand snaps he did, but he scored a 7-point ride, and that's a great way.
I think he done 7.
He must have. Here we go. Well, we can count it.
First one was a cutback.
Yep.
Judges don't like those, but then he hits lip, and it was a nice turn. Nice carve there, and hits the lips. And again, I believe that was probably 6.83.
That was the first one, yep.
Yeah, it was his first wave. And we've got the goofy footers riding over the lip. And a bit of a wide stance right here for this man, so he'd want to shorten that stance up a bit.
Well, we're just going snapping back to live. There was a big set just came through. It's almost a little bit too big. Some of those wide easterly sets. We saw Zane once again wrap another wave up. We'll go to replay after that, but he's paddling back out through the whitewash, indicating there was a big washy set push through the point. Okay, so we're back to down onto the beach. The mics are back in action.
Thanks, guys. We're working, and we're back here with the previous heat winner, Darren Turner. And I was going to say, we've got an amazing support team with the M&M Board Riders Club. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, we've got a couple of team members through to the next round. Yeah, it's good to have a good support crew. No matter their size, we've got them all here.
And how amazing is it having a younger generation supporting you guys and kind of mentoring them through the whole surfing journey?
Oh, it's fantastic, and they give the old guys energy because they just froth so hard, even when it's 1 foot and onshore. And they're little rippers, you know. It's great. It's good to see their energy. It's just, yeah, and the banter between them. It's awesome. Love it.
And it seems like it's rubbing off on you. You had a fantastic heat that last heat, got some absolute smokers out there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. Feeling good to get through a heat. You know, this is the first time I surfed snapper in a heat, so it's good to have, you know, only 3 other guys and priority system. I'm that old that this is probably one of the first times I've had priority system. Yeah, no, it's great. I'm just stoked to surf snapper again for the next round.
Awesome. Well, good luck at the rest of the day, and hopefully you've got an even bigger team for your next post-heat interview.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Okay.
You're on.
Okay, so we're just back live, and a set just coming through the lineup as we're panning back across. Here we go, paddling. And looking at this wave, look at this, off the bottom, big snap off the backhand turn once again from Randy from Santa Cruz. He's got to be loving this wave, a wave that doesn't close out. it's like, look at this, it is cooking. And behind him in the yellow singlet, Nathan Cook, we said he's been really super busy in the early part of this heat. This is a bomb set coming through. We'll finish off on Nathan, but there's split screen, and we can now see Zane on the wave behind him. Again, another set, so we're getting 3-4 waves to a set now, and they're solid walls. There's a bit of grunt behind this. Look at this, looking for the big closeout. Rio pushes that tail out. Zane absolutely flying through that inside section from Crumman Alley and back out in the back, deciding he wanted to have a go at it as well. Gavin from Coolum, but that wave tending to shut down a little bit. Wow, that was a nice set. That's
a nice set.
That's a taste of what's to come, I think. This is what we're expecting, that new southeast swell. It was definitely a little bit different angle on that set. We'll have the last of that northerly swell, but there is a low out there, Mark, we're keeping an eye on. There was a cyclone that went over the other side of Vanuatu.
I saw that one in the next one. What is that doing? It looks like it's doesn't really know what it's doing, but it is definitely coming into our zone, right?
Correct, yeah. So as we see this nice little backhand attack here from Nathan Cook.
Yeah.
Once again, current heat leader. But, wow, just a nice little backhand snap there, and he's been on fire. Will that go into his top 2? Not sure. Once again, in the green, that's Zane from Crumman Alley. He's used to surfing these long, winding Gold Coast point breaks. That one tended to, I think, open up for him for a bit of a run down the line, but this is that beautiful last turn he did. Nice closeout snap, able to put a little bit of extra oomph in that end of the wave. But we're hoping that low that is out there, it's now come onto the western side of New Caledonia, and that's what we want, what we call the window. And we get the waters are really warm, the cyclones start to brew up out there, and the best track is when they travel down west of New Caledonia. They come down in between us and New Caledonia, and then they'll run out in between New Zealand, the top of New Zealand, and that's our window. And if they sit there, which they have done over the years, and we're on the back part of a La Nina, and that's 3 years in a row we've had La Nina, and we've had a lot of good waves.
Yeah, we sure have, and hopefully that low goes into the window. It looks like it's almost in it, so maybe we get a lot of swell next week, but we're definitely going to have good waves for the rest of the event. With the tides being high in the mornings, it'll be tricky, but when the tide goes out like it has done now, the waves look pretty good. And those scores come in. Nathan's got a good lead. And then Zane is sitting there in second. A bit vulnerable with a couple fours. So it looks like Randy Bonds from Santa Cruz has got that 7.83, and that was a good wave. He rode that well, so he's not going to need much at all. So Zane really needs to up his ante here, and Gavin Potter has got only a 4.2. So it looks like Randy's the guy that can upset this heat. We've only got about 8 minutes left, so let's see. You know, that reverse rip's running out pretty strong now, and the wind seems like it's starting to blow.
Yep, definitely. It's getting that little bit of breeze you can feel coming through the tent here from the south, and that's what we want to see. We saw that light easterly yesterday turn into a bit of a northerly in the Arvo, but southerly winds here are offshore, and that's what we're about to have for the next 3 days.
A trade wind.
That's the tradies. They go. You can see the flags flapping down there on the rocks. So it's coming from the south, blowing out off the point here, and this is glassing the conditions up and riding down the end section. But check this set coming through the lineup, paddling for this wave. It is Randy. Big swooping.
Doesn't need much here, Glenn. Doesn't need much here. Boom. This wave doubles
Oh,
up
here we go.
for him. He could have pulled in the barrel there, but decides to just go for turns. One last turn. He's got it. No problem at all.
Wow.
I even believe he might contest the lead right here.
I think you're right. He's going to throw away that 1 point right easy. But,
no,
wow.
that's not even an issue. I mean, he needs, like probably a 2 or a 3,
Yep.
but he's going to get well over a 7 for that.
Easy.
So him and Nathan Cook are going to burst out from the other 2 competitors and make this a hard task for them.
Well, here it is on the replay. Now, this is...
this
is it. Yep, swooping cutback, and then this is where it stood up. And you were saying, well, would you stalled and pulled in the barrel? But
definitely could have.
Yeah, but he's decided to get busy on it, put some big vertical backhand.
But at Santa Cruz, there's not a whole lot of barrels around, so he probably wouldn't have known how to do that. A check from a bottom turn check stall into a grab rail would have been sufficient.
Yep.
But it doesn't do that at Santa Cruz. So he went for turns. And he surfs good. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Sure does.
He's gone to the lead. Like I said, he's in the lead. So Santa Cruz boys will be cheering up on top behind us with just coming down to 5 minutes left. Glenn, what do you think? Do you think there's going to be an upset in this event? Do you think an international club can take it out?
Well, yeah, look, there's such a big contingent and as we said, Snapper took it out last year. There was a lot of talent there, a lot of local knowledge going into what is pretty much a tricky wave when it's like this. It's broken up. But as the waves peel a little bit more down the line, it gives every competitor the opportunity of surfing a long, clean, open wall. It's not as tricky.
It's not as tricky for sure. I mean, definitely it's tricky now because it's not as lined up. But when it's perfect, definitely anyone can get a huge score unless it's behind the rock and gaping. Then you've got another tricky wave, one of the trickiest in the world that take off behind the rock, dealing with backwash, really steep, slabby type wave.
Yep.
That's when it gets tricky. But if that's not happening and it's 4 to 5 foot and it's beside the rock, yeah, definitely anyone can get a huge score. But let's see what happens in this event because there's sand behind there.
There is.
There's some, the big dog, Mitch Parkinson, is being taken out of the event, so we're not going to see him do his thing behind the rock in this individual event when the World Club Challenge comes back on. He's still in that, and he could play a big role.
Well, there's a couple of key players. Snapper has Sheldon, and we know how good Sheldon surfs behind the rock. There's obviously Jagger.
They're all good behind the rock.
Yep.
I mean, they're local boys, so that's their bread and butter.
Yep, indeed. So it could be very interesting over the next few days to see how that all plays out. But no, you're right. Look, there's some great surfers, and they've obviously handpicked the best surfers for all their teams from California and from Japan. We got international Olympian surfers from the Japanese team.
Yes, we've got the girl. Yep, she's in there that was in the Olympics and did surf a couple of CT events, and she, I think she had a good heat yesterday.
Yeah,
by my memory.
Well, we're just going to throw down to True Down on the beach, see what's going down. on the beach
Yep.
of Snapper.
Thanks so much, guys. I'm here with Eden Edwards from Santa Cruz. They've actually got someone in the water right now, and Ben Coffey's coming up in the next heat. The stress levels would be high, but the team environment's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, both Ben and Randy are just backside hammers. Randy's putting up a couple good scores in this heat, and I know Ben will be right behind him.
That's so exciting. And yourself, how's it been coming over to Australia and surfing in a comp like this and introducing that board riders mentality, I guess?
Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun. Like, you guys have made us feel so welcome, and I just can't wait for team day to compete and see all the different camaraderie throughout all the different clubs.
It's going to be exciting. Good luck tomorrow, and good luck to the boys today.
Yeah, thank you. Stoked.
Fantastic. I got goosebumps on that. I just love, individual contests are great, but it's the team environment, when you're with a bunch of mates and you're absolutely rooting for each other, going, come on, yeah, and you really, honestly, we've travelled tour and, you do, back your countrymen, when you are surfing, but it's still an individual sport. But when it's an event like this, when it is truly a team's event as well, and that's the whole spirit of this event that Theo and Rab put together, was making sure it was a fundraiser, but also a chance of giving some money back into some young budding pros, but also the majority of being a team's event. It's all about that team spirit.
It is, and it's a good thing. I mean, the whole team has to have a good event, but if one drops the ball, the other one can pick it up. When it's individual, you drop that ball, it's gone. You can't pick it back up. So team thing, it's just a great, that. And when it comes to the tag team, the World Club Challenge, which is on tomorrow, we won't be actually tagging, but when one surfer finishes and claims their ride, the other one's going to be jumping off. And it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, really
I can't wait for that one. But like I say, they can make up. If one team member drops the ball, the others can pick it up and maybe make a run at this title, which is, the inaugural World Club Challenge.
Yeah, and you know what I'm looking forward to, Mark, is when you hit the water for the Legends event.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can't wait.
Epic.
Yeah, we're going to have Dingo out there and Joel. I know those two, and Jay Phillips. Love the way Jay Phillips surfs.
Oh, yeah.
So, and there's probably going to be some others in there, or maybe even Brad Gerlach. It is an international event, so he'll be in there, even though he does live on the Gold Coast. He's from America and resides now on the Gold Coast. And we got Green. He needs to score. It's Zane, and he falls off. He would need a massive score, though. It almost looks like a combo by looking at his scores on screen. He slaps the water there. But I can't wait for that Legends heat. It's probably going to be on Sunday before the final.
Perfect.
And we've had a few. I've got good memories of the last Challenger Series. We had a Legends event. I was out in the water with Kelly and a few of the crew, and Kelly Slater. It was great to have a heat with him. I've actually got a photo that I kind of have at home doing a backhand snap with Kelly. Kelly's paddling over it, which one of my favourite recent photos.
Oh, that's
anyway.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to... I think I posted that one on Instagram after that because, I'm just, he's the best ever, isn't he? And to share the water with him at Snapper, and he's had great success out here. And now I believe he's in Hawaii. He was just in the backdoor shootout recently, actually, and caught a couple practice runs for what is going to be his umpteenth run at another world title. I mean, I haven't heard otherwise, I mean, Kelly's going to enter pipe, definitely. And is he going to win it again like last year?
Wow.
Is he going to make another run at a world title? He's in his 50s now, and it's just incredible. 11 world titles. I mean,
that is.
I mean, can he get another one? He's just, I don't know. I mean, he can win pipe, he can win Chopu, but I mean, can he win trestles? And that's a have to, isn't it?
Wow, yeah. Look, we saw him in I'll go back to that, the exhibition session that, last year he surfed here, and it was pretty junky conditions. So, we know he's just a super human when he comes to sort of, especially backdoor pipe and chopes and the works. But on small waves, we saw him surf a little quad board, and he was just ripping. So, he's just a jack of all trades and surfs brilliantly. So, well, there you go. Looks like unchallenged in the end there. And that was Randy taking that win out there. Wow, what a great heat unfolding. So that was the last of heat of the round number 1. So we'll be running into heat 1 for the round 2. I haven't got the heat draw yet, but
Yeah, well, that was good. Nathan Cook got second. D-Bar would be happy about that. He's through to the next round, so that was a good heat. Tide's going out. We're moving in to the next round. Someone's going to pass us that draw soon. As we get it, we'll let you know who it is.
okay. But in the meantime, let's go to a break, and we'll be back with round number 2 for the Usher Cup. Well, yeah, thanks, Occy, for his awesome insight to not just the current surfing event here at the Usher Cup at Snapper, some insane waves starting to brew up, but also I love having a chat with Occy. He's got so much history, and he's one of the absolute legends of the sport. But welcome back, Cooper Chapman, to the central commentary position, and this is now round number 2, where our seated surfers come in. We've got the guys out there for heat number 1. At the moment, we'll be looking at Ben Coffey from Santa Cruz in the pink singlet, Taj Stokes in the orange singlet from North Shore, Connor Lyons from Noosa, and Timmy Chalmers from Cabarita.
Yeah.
So, that's,
Mate,
yep.
Round 2, we're into the seeded round, hot action, but we did just see the winner from that last heat, Randy Bonds from over in Santa Cruz, with a huge heat score, 16.5 points. He's down on the beach with True Starling.
Thanks so much, guys. I'm with Randy Reynolds. He just took out the last heat from Santa Cruz Board Riders. Randy, you had a great heat. How's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for having us. That was a blast out there. I was a little shaky at first. I stood up before the horn, I think, but it all worked out. Thank you.
Was it a little shaky? Is this the first time you've been to Australia and had surfed a contest here at Snapper?
Yes, very first time, so it's a definite bucket list for me. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for having us. Thank you.
Oh, good. Congratulations for taking out the heat, and you've also got a fellow teammate in this one as well. So the nerves aren't quite off just yet.
Yes. I'll be rooting them on very soon.
Awesome. Well, congrats, Randy, and good luck for the next round.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Good to see the international competitors absolutely loving their time here at Snapper Rocks, the Santa Cruz surfer. Moving on through that last heat, we do have another Santa Cruz surfer who we did see on our screen just recently, Ben Coffey on his backside. A couple of very solid turns, as we saw Connor Lyons, the Noosa surfer. He had a big heat score yesterday, I heard, and he's bringing his form straight into the second day of competition here at the Usher Cup 2023. 5.67 to open for Connor Lyons. We'll wait for that score for Ben Coffey. Also out in the water, we have Taji Stokes from up at North Shore and Tim Chalmers from Cabarita. The draw is about to get very stacked. Coming up in the next heat, we are going to see Luke Gianaldo, Cooper Davies, Zeb Stokes, and Zane Asink. Following that heat, we're going to see last year's event champion Sheldon Simpkin taking on Simkus, taking on Taylor Hutchinson, Gabriel Ribeiro, and Dane Hendry. So as the day goes on, we're going to see these top seeds beginning to hit the water, and as the waves continue to improve, we're going to see big scores. We've already seen some scores well and truly up into that excellent range in round 1, and it's only going to get better for round 2 and moving forward through this event.
Yeah, that's right. Connor posted a 9.25, I think it was yesterday. So he posted the highest individual score of the event. Here we go, some nice aerial shots from the drone out there. Big snap up into the pocket from the lad. We're just talking about Connor all catching rail on that one, but certainly capable of really busting some big moves and dragging in those big scores. Connor pulled in that 5.67. Not sure if we'll get a replay on that, but just pulled into a nice big barrel. So probably one of the first big barrels we've seen as that tide really starts to bounce off that sand out there. Plenty of sets starting to line up. I'm really stoked to see a real solid punch in this. Well, here we go. High line drive. You're going to have to really race down the line here. Decides to throw it up in the pocket. Tim Chalmers from Cabarita. Is he going to get around this section? He's going to head into the Little Marley section. So he's got the second part of this wave standing up for him. Couple of nice snaps off the top. Arms into the air. And is it going to pan out? No, decides to wrap it up. That was a beautiful wave. Really negotiated it well. Some big turns on the early part of that wave. Again, as we said, you always look down the line. He was able to do the whitewash floater across that section and find that second open part of the wave down at Little Marley, and that's going to give him those extra bits of score line. Now, yeah, we've got Ben's last wave of 5.50. Wow, that was nicely done.
Yeah, and that last wave there for Tim Chalmers just coming in at 5.17.
Yep.
So a bit of early work there, a bit horizontal chasing that one down the line. But like you said, the end part of that wave was where all the juice was. Tidied it up with a few nice vertical hits before that thing dribbled away. So he's got something on the scoreboard. He's going to be back out the back using that reverse sweep as we see a bunch of the free surfers beginning to get sucked up the point as well. Hopefully we can keep them out of the area and out of the way of the competitors, because as this tide draws out, we are going to see some waves start barreling behind the rock, but it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, with the tactics. Depending on where they're going to give priority for how far up the point you go, it kind of gets a bit tricky sometimes, because if you're sitting behind the rock looking for the barrel, but first seed is sitting a little bit wider than you, they're just going to drop in on you as soon as they see you looking like making a beautiful barrel. So a bit of tactics going to come in play. You're going to work your way up the top of the lineup with first priority to get one of those really good ones, because I don't think all the competitors are going to be too aggressive and sit behind there. As we see Connor Lyon, I can see he's about to come flying behind the rock. There it is. Tries for the one big turn. That one doesn't have much of a wall. So you can see the tactic for Connor right now. Go aggressive. One or two big turns at the start of the wave, and then, yeah, damage is done. Whereas a few of the other guys are really looking to surf them all the way down the point.
Yeah, you can see the approach, Connor. He just charges everything. You know, he's not afraid of going behind the rock there. He's got the ability and talent to be able to pull into a couple of those now very low tide sand grinding beasts out there. And yeah, he's not shy of putting the big scores on the board. So yeah, once again, yeah, this is round number 2. So the seeded surfers coming into play. And yeah, we said before, yeah, Sheldon Simkus took it out last year, and he's well and truly capable of really defending his title from last year. He's been on fire. He's been absolutely ripping out here lately. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him. And he is one of those guys who can get behind the rock, can negotiate that backwash, and if these waves really start to stand up and get that hollow opportunity of getting that classic snapper barrel, you get spat out of those things that slingshots you down the point, and you just get an opportunity of then just flying down the line with you know, a chance of putting in plenty of vertical hits all the way down to Little Marley. So yeah, let's see how that unfolds with the locals, mixing it up with some of these internationals. Great to see, yeah, Ben out there, Coffee from Santa Cruz. He's already posted that 5.50, and yeah, these guys must be just loving it, you know, coming out of the cold waters of California. And as we said, they've had some pretty big storms and massive waves over there to come into what is a very mild summer's day here. And behind
Once
the rock,
again, we can see behind the rock, Connor Lyon tucking in behind the barrel, and there's our first completed barrel of the day. Very nicely done there for Connor Lyon, spinning out of the barrel. Nice little swoop, and then he's just going to tidy up this one. I'm really interested to see how the judges are going to score that one. The first barrel that I've seen while I've been commentating.
it has been. Yep.
I think as history would predict. Barrels do get scored very highly surfing, so maybe from that wave and the score we see from this one as we pick up a replay, late airdrop, comes in behind, tucks under. Nice barrel. Wasn't the crazy throaty one that we do see behind the rock there sometimes, but it is that first barrel ride that we've seen for the day. It's going to allow the surfers to understand what the judges are looking for. We'll wait and see what score comes through because hopefully, well, I'm hoping, because I'm coming up very shortly in heat number 4, I'm hoping that the judges go pretty high with that, so it makes all the other surfers realise, you know what, maybe we should be behind the rock looking for a barrel because that is where I want to sit. One of my favourite things to do is airdrop behind the rock there, deal with the backwash, and then tuck into a barrel before surfing all the way down the line. Here through Greenmount and Little Marley. But yeah, we'll wait and see what score comes in there for Connor Lyon. He does have a 5.67 and a 3-point ride now. At the moment, sitting in the lead, he will be replacing that 3-point ride as we see him just swoop straight up past everyone. Airdrop, tucks in. Nice barrel, definitely some vision. Not super deep. Not super critical, and that's me being very critical. I'm sure people listening are like, this guy is just roasting him, but I am good mates with Connor, and I know he knows he can do far better than that, but the judges absolutely loved it. 7.33, and they're setting the intention. We want to see you get behind the rock.
Yep.
We want to see you in the barrel because that is the most beautiful thing to watch in surfing.
It really is. It's nothing like a good barrel, and when it's on out here, it's one of the best waves, even just sitting in the lineup, paddling out and seeing the guys do those airdrops, pulling into that super crazy wave behind the rock, and you get that little bit of warp of the backwash, and it just opens this thing up, and just it's a visual spectacle when you're seeing some of the best tube riders in behind the rock there, and judges obviously knowing what's coming up with an increase of swell, knowing that sand is there, and the opportunity of some amazing behind the rock barrels, opportunity of just getting shacked off your nut out there. So with that, a 7.33's. It is, as you say, indicating the judges want to see that. They want to see variety of manoeuvres, and a variety of manoeuvres is getting all what you could do on a wave, as in a barrel. Nice snaps off the top, style and flow on roundhouse cutties, roofline floaters. Throw all those into one action on one wave, and you're going to no doubt get the big scores. But again, yeah, judges in the early stage, as you said, the first barrel that's been completed with this tide dropping. We'll see many more over the weekend, so they're leaving a little bit of room. Here we go. Check this out once again behind the rock. Okay, that looked like Connor. He's unchallenged over there. He's sitting over there by himself. He's dead set keen in that number 1 spot. He's got a couple of nice healthy scores in his back pocket, so he's just going hell for leather and just going, man, I'm going to chase those sand grinding barrels over behind the rock.
Yeah, and this is what I was touching on before. Connor's now got 4th priority, and he's gone up the top of the point. All 3 of his competitors have chose to sit down wide, which makes it pretty tricky. And I tend to not agree with the whole priority thing sometimes when this happens, because you want to see guys pushing the limit, sitting up deep behind the rock. But now if Connor's on a really good one and he's coming out of the barrel, all 3 of the surfers have priority over him. One of them's going to drop in on him, which makes it pretty difficult. He has to either straighten out and not cross lines with the surfer down the line, or he just has to eject in the barrel, which can be really difficult, especially with the behind the rock section at Snapper. It really pushes you down the line. So I'm interested to see if Connor's going to be able to pick up a really nice one that doesn't quite connect with the section where the other competitors are, or he's just going to have to wait it out while he moves up the priority line while the other guys sit down the line and take off on some. So I'm really intrigued to see how this next 6 minute pans out in this heat, because Connor Lyon is up behind the rock. We can see another wave coming through here. He's not going to take this one, but yeah, all 3 of the surfers right now in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Just one wave in their lineup, and yeah, they've got a bit of work to do. As we see the surfer in orange having a really good look here. Taj Stokes, one of the better surfers in this draw, in my opinion, opening up with a nice snap. And yeah, take this one away for us.
Well, he's picked off a good one. We can see it live here. It's got a bit of a wall to it. He's now starting to approach that little inside reform section. Little Marley, nice snap off the top there. It's going to start wrapping up, and he's going to have to put, a very quick concession, couple of snaps into play out the back in the meantime on the backhand attack here. It is Ben Coffey from Santa Cruz. He's already opened his campaign with a 5.5. That's not going to pan out. So again, there's 2 perfect examples of wave choice. When you're looking at a wave at Snapper, you're not just looking at the wave coming in, you're looking out to the left, how much wall is on that and how much ride it's going to give you. So Taj Stokes got the better of the exchange on that right now. That last wave of Ben's, it didn't pan out. It tapered off too much. So a little bit of local knowledge, a little bit of wave selection, really going into Taj. And we'll see what the scores come out.
And we'll see if we pick up This replay of Ben, exactly like what I was just talking, just happened. Connor Lyons was on the wave that Ben took off on. Connor threw a big fin ditch turn, which then Ben took off on in a little bit, obviously to block kind of that wave there for the surfer out the back, Connor Lyons. As we see a beautiful drone shot here following our surfer Taj Stokes from North Shore down the line. Nice first turn, a little bit sleepy through the middle, but then he really turns it on here. Nice carve to set it up. Snaps that one off the top and gets a 2-for-1 here. Another snap and up and over. He is a very, very polished surfer, Taji Stokes. Taking him a while to get going on this one, but yeah, nice wave here. This first turn was nice. The wave cupped out a bit, and then this little bit here went a bit sleepy, but as we said earlier, once the wave connects with this down the line section, we can really pick up more points. And a nice, not opening wrap, a nice wrap down the line. That was the money turn there. Throwing speed, building speed as he does that turn. I can't speak right now. Throwing speed, building speed. But no, nonetheless, very nice wave there for Taji Stokes. 6.9, doesn't quite get him up into second place. Ben Coffey picked up a 4.93 on his last to maintain that spot in second position. But 6.9 is the second best wave of this heat. Taj Stokes will not be looking for too much. Right now, 3.5 is the score that he's about looking for, I think. So he'll be on his way back out, maybe trying to pick something up off the end on his way out. As we can see him right there, sitting down the line, fourth place. But here we go, the drone shot. Nice first carve, straight up vertical into the lip there. 3-turn combo to start. It did flatten out a bit for the third turn, but I really like the 3 turns to start. And then here, nice wrap. I think he's going to get that 5-point ride. Another little vertical snap here. Then the wave does split a little bit. He does a snap, gets a finishing turn over the lip, and then pulls off that one. So if I'm a judge, I'm giving him that 5. We will wait and see what score does come through. With just 2 minutes remaining, it could spell a bit of trouble for the Santa Cruz surfer, Ben Coffey. He will be looking for a score, as we see. Tim Chalmers, 6.47. I should be a judge, maybe.
That was perfect.
Yeah, he
well
did
read.
get the score. But yeah, we are going to see some tough times right now for Taj Stokes, one of the seeded surfers right now. He does have that 6.9. He is going to be looking for a score in the dying stages of this heat. He's going to be looking for something up in that 4.9 range, I think, or 4.75, I think he's going to need, Taj Stokes, right now. And yeah, with just over a minute remaining, he's going to have a bit of work on his plate, as is Ben Coffey, the surfer from over in California, Santa Cruz. He is going to be looking for something up in that 6-point range as well. So with just on a minute remaining, Connor Lyons out in the lead from Noosa, sitting up behind the rock. We'll see if he can have a last-ditch effort, maybe pick up a little barrel to finish off his heat.
Well, 1 minute remaining. And yeah, that change of situation there with Ben Coffey being nudged out, holding that number 2 spot. He would like to meet up with his fellow Santa Cruzian and get through this heat, but we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, Timmy Chalmers. So you're right, he did a lot of that work in the early part. Here we go, paddling for this wave. We'll just see panning across. Yep, this will be the first turn. Last throw of the dice there, 45 seconds remaining on the clock. And Ben Coffey, not much really left out in the lineup. So kind of a done and dusted deal. 30 seconds, things can happen. We've seen it many times before, but looking out on the horizon, doesn't look like too much going on.
Yeah, with just under 25 seconds remaining right now, it is going to be very tough to find something in this lineup. He's been very consistent today, which is very promising for the competitors coming up as the day goes on. That wind is going to continue to stay from the south, keeping it a little bit offshore. And as, the rest of this day goes on, we see up behind the rock, last-ditch effort here for Taj Stokes. He's not looking for much, but this wave is disappearing. He's going to have to get some serious work done here, as we're going to leave this one with the judges. He's going to fight everything he can into this wave. It was a very small one. It was the only wave that did break, so right choice taking it, but we're going to leave that one with the judges. Taj Stokes leaving it right into the last minute, looking for something up in that 4-point range if he wants to move on through this heat. And that's going to be the end of round 2. Heat number 1, we will be coming back very shortly with heat number 2. We have Luke Gianaldo from Huntington Beach coming up, Cooper Davies in the orange, Zeb Stokes in the yellow, and Zane Asseg in the green. So Taj Stokes' brother heading out there in the next one. We'll see if he has a little bit better luck. And we're going to take you guys to a little commercial break before we come back with round number 2. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Usher Cup live at Snapper Rocks for 2023.
Welcome back, guys. I'm here in the athletes area with Marcos from Salt Performance Training. Marcos, there's so much going on in this zone. How are you helping the athletes throughout the Usher Cup?
So, like, what we set up over here with Usher Cup is pretty much like a athletes area with a few equipment to supporting them to help themselves to prepare for the heat. So, yeah, we're here to support if any way. We got an ice bath, we got like medicine bowls and rollers and stuff. So what I do sometimes, I just pretty much prepare the body to a little stretch, just release and less stress, especially the days like this with like so much tension going through the heats. And yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And you've been focusing a lot as well on the breathing and the movements of the breath to slow your mind and calm your body as well. How important is that, especially before you go into a high-pressure environment like a heat?
Yes, correct. You know what I mean? Everyone's individual. Like, we try to work with more specific regards to different persons and what they're really needing. It all depends, but the main thing about just for sure, keep that calm, nervous system a little bit low, breath training, do you know what I mean? Keep the mind just a little bit more, commit themselves to the heat and don't thinking about anything extra. Just make that a little bit stress. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for the chat, Marcos, and hopefully we've got some more people coming in soon.
Thank you so much, and appreciate and have a good day. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thank you, True. Marcos on fire down there and helping a lot of the athletes out, but the action in the lineup keeps coming our way with the conditions improving. Ronnie Blakey here with Cooper Chapman, and Cooper, another big lineup of great surfers here.
Yeah, this is a really stacked heat. We've got Luke Guinaldo, I'm not too sure if I'm getting his name wrong, but Huntington Beach surfer out there in the red with a stacked lineup of Aussie surfers right behind him. Cooper Davies from Noosa out there in the orange. We have Zeb Stokes. Brother just surfed in that last heat, so he might be able to get a bit of tactics from his brother in the, what colour is he in? In the yellow. And we saw Zane Assink in the green from Yarumba opening up in the heat right now with a pretty nice wave there. So stacked heat this one, and it's only going to get more stacked. We've got Shelley Simkis coming up in the next heat, and then me in the one after. Can't wait.
Bring it on. Can't wait to see that, mate. Yeah, the Stokes brothers, they definitely know how to fire each other up. A nice little sibling rivalry there, of course, competing for the same team, but they'll be amped. They'll be well and truly psyched, and yeah, we can't wait to watch this unfold.
We saw Taji Stokes actually pick up a wave right at the end of his heat, looking for something in the high 4-point range, coming in as a low 4. Unfortunately, losing him in that last heat. We saw Connor Lyons take that one out, and Timmy Chalmers coming in second. So Stokes, not so stoked in the first one.
That's
maybe
right.
a bit more stoked in the second one.
Yeah, well, he'll definitely be fired up there. But let's check in with the winner of the last heat down there with True starting.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Connor Lyons from the previous heat win. Connor, you surfed yesterday and coming through to the deck today. How have the conditions changed?
Well, today I was like at about midday and there was a bit of onshore wind. And today it's a lot cleaner, so it's much nicer to surf. And you don't get caught up as much in the bump and chop. So, and I got a nice little barrel today, so yeah, they're out there.
You're feeling pretty nice with that one. You're going to hang up the boots for the rest of the day. Will you go for a surf or just preserve your energy for the team's challenge coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, we might even have a little practice for the team challenge tomorrow. See if I can rally up the rest of the Noosa crew and, yeah, see if we can take it out tomorrow.
Look out, we've got a couple of contenders. How's your heat looking for the team's challenge? I mean, we're all getting really excited. It's going to have a different format. How are you guys going to approach that?
I reckon we'll revel in the new format. Yeah, I reckon it's in our favour because, you know, we don't mind running, but when you take that out of the equation, it's just like it keeps the flow going. And yeah, I love the new format. So it'd be good to see non-stop action, and especially out here at Snapper. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, have a great rest of the day, and good luck to Noosa coming up tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good on you, True. Connor Lyons looking really sharp in that last clash and setting up Team Noosa very nicely and thinking about getting the team together and getting a little heat drill happening, preparing for that World Club Challenge component of this event, which is obviously going to be the big decider in crowning our very first World Club Challenge champions here at the Usher Cup. But yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited about this format. More focus on the surfing, less focus on sort of running to the beach and some of those more traditional kind of tag team format rules as we see some replays of what unfolded during the interview.
Yeah, Cooper Davies on this one. A little bit slow on the start of it, but then it started to pick up pace. I think that was his first wave, came in at around a 4, but then he picked up a 7 on his second, where we see Zane Assink here. Little caught on the first turn, then this thing bottomed out and slingshot him all the way down the line. Nice vertical hit there in the pocket, and then getting a 4th one as well. So that one came in as a 6.17 for Zane Assink on his first wave, and then here's another replay of Cooper Davies, who we just lost. I think that would have been his 7.33. So early start for Zane and Cooper. Very strong scoreline to kick it off. And here we go. Here's the replay of Cooper Davies. This was a bigger wave, cuts it back, and then this thing bottomed out. He didn't get too much done, but very critical on that turn, and then straight into the lip. 7.33. You don't need to go all the way down the line to put down a big score, do you, Ronnie?
Nah, big combo. As we get back to live action now, a bit of a split screen, good exchange happening here. As we see Zane Assink finishing off on the inside and just chasing him down the line now. Here's Cooper Davies just losing a little bit of control there. Behind them, Zeb Stokes. The waves are starting to fire up. And Snapper certainly probably that one location when you're watching competition that it just drives you mad. You want to get out there so bad and get a piece of it. And you will get that opportunity pretty soon, Coop. You must be ripping your skin off at the moment just at the thought of getting out there.
Oh, I can't wait. It is absolutely pumping out there. 20 minutes with just 3 other guys is what you seriously dream of as a surfer. And can't thank Theo and the team at Usher and all the sponsors and the charities and everyone who puts this event on. It's such a community-based event. It was put on through those COVID times where it was very hard to get anything done, but the Usher team pulled it all together through an epic event 2 years ago. We came back last year, once again, another epic event, and then this year it's just grown every single year. Getting to be involved in the first ever World's Team Challenge is something we've spoken about for years, right? In surf commentary, myself being at that top level for quite some time, it's always been sort of said that Australia is so lucky with this surf culture and the board riders culture that we do have here. And to be introducing it to that world stage and giving them an opportunity to come and compete against the top clubs here in Australia, it's bloody epic.
Oh, it's so good. And they're beaming, those international teams. We've got Luke out there at the moment repping Huntington Beach. Got some work to do. We've got Cooper Davies and Zane Assink really kind of taking control in the opening stages here. Cooper with the highest single score, 7.33. And he's not after much to jump up into the lead, but Zane's got a couple of decent rides as well.
Yeah, he's on a roll, Zane. He's dropped a 7-point ride on his last one too, as we see him back up and riding right now. It's his 4th wave, and all of them have been pretty high quality. I don't know if this one is going to edge out that 6.17. He's going to stick with it. It gives him another little section, goes for the blowtail. He knows he needs to do something special, but commanding lead right now for Zane Assink, 7-point ride and 6.17. Cooper Davies sitting down on his tail and up and riding right now. This looks like a bomb. Huge first turn. Racing down the line. It splits a little bit, but he can see something, and here we go. Hits this inside track. Another nice turn. Driving through this big inside section and getting a nice 4th turn. And that one is going to go in the excellent range, if you ask me, and he's going to be putting himself back in the lead, but right now we see surfer in pink. The Huntington Beach surfer up and riding.
Just a quick wave, he's going to kick out, but I loved just the combinations and the variety in Cooper surfing there. He looked powerful, he looked strong, he looked patient. You know, that was something that we were talking a bit about yesterday. On these long running right-handers, you know, you don't want to lose touch with the pocket of the wave, so it does require a bit of sort of patience in just the timing of your manoeuvres and sizing up what move you're going to go for. Just flowed nicely. But look, he just ploughed through all this chatter and garbage, whitewater face. This was earlier on, so not the wave that's going to score big for him. Actually, that last rider, he's got him into the excellent range. So looking forward to seeing the replay of it.
Yeah, and this is that one of Zeb Stokes. He locked in a 5.77 for this one as we pick up the drone replay. How good's this? All these different camera angles you can see now. It really gives you a good understanding of what the surfers are dealing with out here at this beautiful Snapper Rocks as we see Zane Assink. Another replay of this one. I believe this was his last one, which once again did not go in his top 2, 4.23. Just feeling it out, making the most of his time out in the lineup. He's got that 7 and 6 to open up, and now he can free up. And here we go, Cooper Davies. This is the one that we need to really break down. 8.5 points, Ronnie. Take us away.
Yeah, just loved it. Strong opening move, but, you know, he does bypass a lot of that kind of dead water because he sees opportunity for big moves down the line here, and it's a solid combo, and it got him an 8.5 and the heat lead as we see Luke now. Ronaldo of Huntington Beach, and just a nice little hit there. Just trying to get something of substance on the board to chip away at the combination. He's after a 2-wave total of 13.18 prior to that wave to get himself up in a second spot. So, you know, he's got some work to do.
Yeah, definitely the local, well, Queensland surfers, you'd call them, having surfed plenty of times out here. I think any Aussie young surfer has spent a lot of time out in the lineup here at Snapper, so that is paying a bit of dividends right now. Luke Guinaldo having a bit of trouble connecting with one right now that lines up all the way through the Little Marley section, but both Cooper Davies and Zane Assink putting on a clinic. We are seeing our seeded surfers hit the lineup right now. This is round 2, heat number 2 of the Open Men's here at the Usher Cup. This is the individual men's division. We are going to be seeing men's action coming at you all day. This is heat number 2. There is 16 men's heats. And then I think that'll take us to the end of today. And then tomorrow, that's what I'm excited for, the World Club Challenge. First of its kind, international teams coming up against the best teams in Australia. Snapper rocks, the waves are going to be firing. Mate, what more can you ask for?
Oh, it's going to be so cool. And, you know, we know that some of those international teams have set themselves up pretty well with the, I've got to say, mostly in the women's division with some of the international field progressing through to the semis already. So, yeah, they're right there. They're on track to put in a great finish and big performance here as we have a look at the replay.
Yeah, dissect this 8. I love that the judges reward people when they really attack that first turn. I actually really like this one. The little drift of the fins over that showed a bit of risk, but also plenty of style and plenty of speed. And then that closing combination, every turn was different. You had the vertical stab at the start, the fin drift kind of lip line into the carve that really had a bit of release, and then a really strong finishing turn. And that's exactly what you need to do to get 8 points out there.
Yeah, just those transition maneuvers, which, you know, can often, you know, not really kind of add to the score tally. It wasn't the biggest turn that he threw down on that wave, but what it did is just added to the flow and the variety and the surfing. The rider's a complete package. And sort of, as you said, it wasn't without a little bit of risk. But it was just a great way to progress down the line and keep all the speed in the world for that last big combination.
Yeah, and then we see the Prince of the Point about to paddle out, Sheldon Simkus. The last 2 times he's paddled out for events here, he won the Usher Cup last year. He got second in the Challenger Series event here at Snapper Rocks, only behind our good friend Callum Robson, young Aussie on that world tour, 10th in the world last year. And Shelley Simkus would love a spot on that world tour as well. So, yeah, Sheldon knows what he's doing out here at Snapper Rocks, the local. And, yeah, he is no stranger to a barrel, as we see him right there on a replay from last year behind the rock in the tube.
Well, that's classic. I mean, you've been spending a lot of time up there. The Prince of the Point, that's a huge title and honour. He's the Prince, who's the King?
I don't want to get myself in trouble here. There's plenty of kings, so many crowns.
Who's the King in your eyes?
Who's the King?
Who's the King of the Point?
Oh, I mean, you kind of have to say Nick, don't you? Nick? 3 world titles from here. If it doesn't surf a snapper, so maybe Parko's the king of the point. 1 world title. Oki's the king of the point. Rabs.
Oh, mate.
There's plenty of kings. They share the crown.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a good young crop of princes
There's a lot of lords, for sure. But, you know, it is a big call to announce the king. I'll put you on the spot. Well, we know who the Queen is, that's for sure.
We do know who the Queen is, don't we?
Yeah. Stephanie Gilmore, of course. 8-time world champ, chasing a 9th this year. That's just unimaginable. You know, like Kelly's 11 world titles just seem just so beyond comprehension. And you know, Steph, the way she's surfing, and as long as that surf off for a world title that, you know, stays at Trestles every year, if she's in the top 5, she's going to have a fantastic chance of racking up a world title. So 11 seems within reach all of a sudden.
Yeah, we're going to see some weird shake-ups over if they keep it at Trestles for the next 10 years. I mean, you've probably watched and spoke about more surf comps than anyone on this planet. What's your take on it? Are we going to see people win multiple world titles because they're specialists out there? Like Felipe Toledo looked almost unbeatable last year. Is he going to win heaps in a row, as we see right now? Zeb Stokes trying to fight back this heat, and this is a good-looking wave right now. driving down the line. A lot of manoeuvres on that wave, and yeah, he's going to be putting his hat in the ring to chase down that score that he is needing. He's up in that 7-point range, but very capable surfer, and that last wave is going to give it a good look.
Oh, and on the outside, Cooper Davies already hanging on to two great numbers. He's going to go looking for more and can really afford to push things now. He's in such a strong position. And he finds a little bit of cover. Snapper Rock's really starting to come to life now. I mean, we've seen a bit of a cover up on the outside in that previous heat, but that was sort of the first wave midway down the bank here at Snapper that's offered a little barrel section. Really positive signs as the tide drops out.
Yeah, it's getting good. I cannot wait. I'm out there in about 25 minutes, so I'll tell you very shortly, Ronnie, how it is out there when we come back in.
Mate,
and here we go. Zeb Stokes, huge first turn. This is coming into 7.63. So Zane Asink, who has looked comfortable the whole heat, is finding himself on the hot seat now in third place. Zeb moving up into second place with that last wave. Little claim there at the end, getting that 7.63. Zane Asink now down in third, looking for a 6.41 with just under 5 minutes remaining. And yeah, like I was touching on before, Ron, are we going to see people, because things like what happened with Steph, I had India Robinson on my podcast, and we spoke about her year, and she said she had a heat with Steph at Margaret River in the quarterfinals, and if Steph lost in that heat, she didn't even make the mid-year cut.
So wild, isn't it?
It was whoever made that heat, India said, was going to be on tour for the back end of the year. So Steph went from almost not being on tour to being the world champ a few months later.
Yeah, well, those surfers that on the women's side in particular, it's so compressed. And at that point in the year, you know, with all the wins being shared around, only one surfer won 2 events on the women's tour. You know, the surfers at the back end of the ratings going into the 5th event, you know, all had a chance at getting themselves above that cut line, and only a few were going to make that jump. Steph was one of them, but yeah, it's as long as the event remains at Trestles. I think that was the question you asked me earlier. I think Felipe Toledo is going to be really hard. He's a fantastic chance of going back-to-back this year. Medina's going to have a great shot of overcoming him, just being that he's done it before there. But I think Felipe's a good chance at getting a second world title this year, because you'd back him to get into that final 5 again. And then on the women's side, I think it's a bit more competitive. I think it's a lot closer and harder to pick. You know, especially considering Tyler Wright hasn't been in the mix for a shot at a world title in the final 5 in the new format yet. I just think mentally she's someone who is not going to buckle to Stephanie Gilmore and Carissa Moore. She kind of mentally has the confidence, I think, to overcome those 2 competitors in that situation, and she rips at that wave.
Yeah, and she's a real momentum surfer too, Tyler, so you could see her doing the same as what Steph did. If she came in one of those first heats, she could really work her way through the whole draw just like Steph did, and a lot of people were riding off saying, I don't think anyone can come from 5th, but we saw both Italo and Steph come from that opening heat. Was Italo in 4th? Was he in the first heat? Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah, so both of them had a shot at the world title in the 3 heat surf-off. So it's really shown that just getting yourself in that top 5 is all you need to do, and you can have a shot at that world title. And yeah, I think I'm a bit of on the fence with the men's. I think maybe we might see some shake-ups this year. I feel like we saw some really impressive stuff, obviously, from the 2 young Aussies, Ethan Ewing, Jack Robbo. I think both of them got a taste of it. Didn't maybe perform to the level they would have wanted to under that huge limelight of the world title day. But I think after a bit of a taste, they're going to want more this year.
No doubt. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see how they both perform in those first 2 events. Pet events for both of them in the first 2 stops on the schedule. You know, Ethan for me is the best person to watch at Sunset now. And Jack Robbo is also amazing there, but also has
maybe the best to watch at Pipe.
Exactly. So, you know, their chances maybe hedge on their performance in those opening events, especially with the return of John Florence and Gabriel Medina. But it's just fun to talk about, and I got the opportunity to do a bit of chat about the upcoming Pipe Masters first stop. Kicks off on the 29th of January. And there's a preview show on Fox Sports, actually airing tonight, I believe.
Epic.
But this is what we're excited about at the moment. Club surfing on an international level. And Zeb Stokes finds a couple of nice pockets there in the final stages. And this has been a pretty close heat, big numbers. I mean, Luke Guinaldo of Huntington Beach kind of got a little left behind in the back half of the heat. But Cooper Davies on fire, finishing off there. Zeb Stokes did very well as also. And Zane Sink kind of got pushed back in third position. But Cooper, an absolute pleasure, mate. Best of luck to you and the North Narrabeen team in your quest to take the Usher Cup in 2023. We're going to go to a quick break here. Stay with us. Mark Okalupa will join me in the booth right after this.